Now, as UKIP's spring conference draws to a close, its activists will today be urged to break up the stranglehold of the two main parties at the next general election.
Joining us now from Margate is UKIP's leader, Nigel Farage. Very good morning to you, Mr Farage. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Good morning.
I just wonder if I could pick up first on one personal note. In your speech yesterday, it has been talked about quite a lot in the papers today, inevitably. You made reference yourself to some rumours about your own health, which left some people scratching their heads rather. Can you just clarify for us? You're not ill at the moment, and what were the rumours you were talking about?
Well, the rumours were that I hadn't been seen much in January and in early February, and the reason for that is I've been campaigning hard down here in Thanet. And it's led to this wave of speculation that somehow there's something very seriously wrong with me and that I'm ill, and that was going around, being gossiped about. And indeed, several of our supporters and donors and backers were ringing me saying, what's going on? So I thought I'll knock it on the head in public. I'm fine. I'm fit as a flea. 67 days to go to the election, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, so we're looking ahead to the election. The phrase you used in your speech when you were asked about how many seats you might win was a lot of seats. Can you elaborate on that a bit for us?
Well, I said we'd win lots of seats, which means I think we're going to win more than a handful, but I'm not going to put a precise number on this, and I'll tell you why, because this is now the most uncertain general election for 100 years. All the balls are up in the air. UKIP has changed the electoral arithmetic, and I think it's very difficult to predict how anyone's going to do. All I can say is that in our key areas, our strong areas, where in the past we've won council seats and topped the polls in the European elections, we're in good heart and we're very optimistic.
I'm sensing maybe that your tone, I wonder whether your supporters sense this as well, your tone's slightly changing from the early days of the huge rise in UKIP, which most people recognise was an extraordinary moment. I think it was described as an earthquake. Maybe that was your words. Now you seem to be reining back in. You're saying, maybe a handful of seats. As the election gets closer, are you toning it down?
No, I mean, I think what's going to happen is we're going to come second in hundreds of seats. And certainly across the north of England, we've now emerged as the opposition party to Labour. But I can't predict, whether it's going to be 10, 20. I'm just not going to put numbers on this. And there's no expert out there can do the same thing either. The top experts say UKIP will win 5 seats across the country. And I'm saying there are 5 seats here in the county of Kent alone in which we're serious contenders.
I wonder if I could ask you about one or two of the stories that have been occupying issues in the UK this week. Mohammed Anwazi particularly. David Cameron yesterday expressing his confidence in MI5 as those questions remain about just what was known about him and his movements, particularly about the issue of the Home Secretary and whether those issues to do with control orders, whether there is enough power in the hands of the government to try and hold on to people, keep tabs on people who may be involved in extremist groups. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are this. We have spent billions over the last 15 years fighting a series of endless wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and the government even wanted to get involved in Syria. And I would say this, I think all those foreign wars have probably made things worse, not better. And I think that money and the real resources need to be spent for the security services in this country. They are trying to keep tabs on thousands of people, and they need to be properly resourced to do so.
So you think that this is an issue of money rather than political will? What about that?
Well, I think, no, I mean, I have no doubt at all that the political will is there amongst our security services to stop terrorist atrocities happening in this country. Of that, I have no doubt at all. But I sense that the scale of the job that they've got is so enormous that they're going to need more people, more money and more resources. And I think we really should be focusing on the problem we have here. There is an enemy within in this country, a fifth column, as I've called it before, and we've got to deal with it.
And with our eye on the election up ahead, judging from your comments yesterday, it seems clear that you're aligning yourself closer and closer to the Conservatives.
Well, what I'm saying is this. Firstly, I think the Conservatives will be the biggest party, but with almost no chance at all of getting a majority. And we couldn't do anything with the Labour Party, given that Ed Miliband has turned his backs on the British people having a say, having a vote, and having a referendum on our relationship with Europe. Mr. Cameron at least has promised to do that. I doubt the promise is very sincere. And what we're saying is, if we've got enough UKIP MPs, we will make that referendum happen.
Nigel Farage, thank you very much.